What is happening out there in internet land? We got another episode here of training for you. So we are just getting started here, and yeah, should have some good stuff for you today. We talking about a little bit about marketing, and we're gonna do some Q&A towards the end. So if you guys have any questions for me, make sure you throw them in the comments, and we'll get to those here in just a little bit. So I want to talk today about some marketing. I know a lot of guys are starting to see a slowdown in their leads that are coming in, and some people are starting to get a little excited, a little worried, a little concerned. I had a call this morning with a contractor up in Canada who has been in business for a long time, does home building, does a lot of high end stuff, like phenomenal work. I saw his website and stuff, does excellent work, but he's struggling with getting some leads. And I did a simple while I was on the call with him. I just did a simple little search. I said, where are you located? He said, I'm in Vancouver. And so I just went on home builders. He does new home construction and remodeling. I said, home builders, Vancouver. Didn't even show up. Didn't show up in Google at all. And that's common. Like I see this all the time. And so one of the things you got to make sure you're doing in your business is you got to make sure that you're showing up everywhere. It's this crazy idea, and I did the same thing. So I'm not like saying anything bad about you guys, but this idea that if you start a business, that somehow through like osmosis or who knows, that everybody just instantly knows that you have a business. And that's not the case at all. The truth is, most people will never know you have a business. That includes your friends and family. One of the very first things that you should do when you start your business is send out a letter or an email to every single person you know that simply says, hey, I've started a business. This is what we do. If you or know anybody who needs our services, please reach out to us. And it's best if you can do it with your close friends and family, like write them an actual physical letter, like, and put it in the mail, like the old time, the way the boomers used to do it, where they actually sent mail out. Like, do that, because it's more personal. And so if someone gets a letter from you, they're going to open it and read it like, oh, that's great, right? And so now they're more likely to either, not doesn't mean you're going to get to work, but they're more likely to read it and see it and say, oh, my cousin, my nephew, my aunt, my uncle, whoever is now in business. So now if I run across somebody who needs these services, now I have somebody I can recommend. You will get business from it. I can almost guarantee it. But if you email it out to your extended network, then you can get even more reach there, right? But I would send out to like at least 20 or 30 handwritten letters, not like handwritten, but I mean, type it out, print it out, sign your name, stick it in the mail it to them, right? Your closest friends and family that networks, people like that, send it out to those people. But this idea that just because you open a business that automatically everybody knows you exist, it's crazy. This is why you see a new restaurant that opens up. You're driving down the road and you see a new restaurant and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Some new Mexican restaurant or whatever opens up. I'm gonna have to try that out sometime. And then the next week you've completely forgot that restaurant was even there until 2 months later you're driving down the road again and you see the restaurant. You're like, oh yeah, I want to stop in there one time. And because you're driving by, you just forget about it. And then 3 months later you drive by and the place is closed. It's because nobody markets. They don't market their business. There's studies that have been done that if you open a restaurant, it takes almost 2 years to break even. Like, that's just to break even. And the number one reason why restaurants close is because they don't have a 2-year marketing budget planned. So in other words, that you should have 2 years worth of finances secured to market your business during that time. So if you're going to go get a loan to start a business or build a restaurant, and you need to get a $1 million loan, a $500,000 loan, whatever it is, in that loan should include money to market your business. It's no different than construction. So when you start your construction business, or if you've been in business for 5-10 years, it doesn't matter. you need to have a marketing budget to let people know you exist. It's that simple, right? People have to know you exist. The first step of the equation to getting leads is they have to know that you exist. They have to know you, they have to know who you are. So you have to get the word out there. And then they have to like you, and then they have to trust you. And so if you don't have a basic website, if you don't have a Google listing, if you don't have social media presence, if you don't have wrapped vehicles or marketing on your vehicles, if you don't have those things in place, you're not letting your market know that you exist. And that's like the basic stuff. So back to this builder I was talking to this morning, they do good work. It's not a matter of they don't do good work or quality. They've been in business for a while, but they don't even show up in Google when you search. And I searched for, home builders near him, and there were like 30 different people that showed up, and I just started naming them off. Do you know this one? Do you know this one? Do you know this one? And he's like, yeah, I know almost all of those people. And they had 15, 20, 30 different reviews, 4.8, 4.9, 5-star reviews. And so if I was a person who just happened to be searching for a home builder, like he would not even show up there, right? That's just part of it. That's just one little tiny bit of it. And Google is so easy to set up. Okay. So like you can't not do that stuff. And what I've also noticed from talking to a lot of contractors is the guys that have been around for a while, that have been in business for 10, 20, 30 years, who have relied 100% on referrals, are now starting to run out of leads. They're starting to see a slowdown in their leads. And the reason that's happening is because people in those generations who are getting older, those are being replaced with younger people, right? Because I mean, if you're 40 years old and you say you build a new house, you may not ever build a new house again, or it might be another 20 years or whatever before you build a new house. And so as these contractors get older and older, those people that are bought from them in the past are now getting out of that market. And so you have younger people coming up, and younger people are not relying 100% on referrals. Younger people are using Google, and they're using other means to find people. And so you can't just say, this has worked for me for 20 years, and that's all I'm going to do. You have to start doing all those things. That's what we're talking about, Pedro. Is literally what we're talking about, is how to generate leads. You have to put yourself out there through all the marketing channels. You have to have a Google listing. It's not optional. You have to have a website. It's not optional. You have to have social media. It's not optional. You have to do these things, guys. Yes, there's going to be outliers, and yes, there's going to be special circumstances where this guy has never had a website and he built a multi-million-dollar business. But if you start looking at their business and their situation, it's a unique one. It's not this fits into every single situation. There's always going to be outliers and everything. My question to you is, why would you not want to do more marketing? Like, why would you not want to have an abundance of leads? I would always rather be in a situation where I have way too many leads to go through than sitting at home, twiddling my thumbs and be like, man, I wish I had some people calling. I would never want to be in that situation. Irie Model says my customer base keeps getting younger and younger, and they definitely do word of mouth. I'm not saying that they don't do it. I'm just saying there's more people that use other means, right? So again, this is I always notice from Irie Model, I always notice you always challenge me on everything I say. There's always exceptions, brother. There's always different rules and different ways of doing things. I'm just telling you from the hundreds and hundreds of contractors that I talk to on a regular basis who say, I don't have enough leads. And I look at their business. They don't have a website. They don't have Google business listing. They don't do social media. They rely 100% on word of mouth, but yet they don't have enough leads coming in. So that's just what I'm saying. Like from my experience, they do that. That's not true. Again, that's not true. They don't use other means because they can't get good referrals. Younger and younger people are going to college and they're getting their degrees. They're becoming doctors and lawyers and engineers, and they're moving to other cities where they don't know anybody. They don't have anybody to talk to or ask. Those people who are moving rely on the internet to find leads. They may ask their coworkers where they just got a job at, but those people may not have experience with anybody. So those people are still likely to go online and look for reviews and look for ways of getting a contractor. The other thing you're not taking into consideration is that even if I say, "Hey, do you know a good contractor to do X?" And two people say, "Yeah, call this guy. He's really good." They still go online to social proof you. They still go online to look at your reviews. They still go online to look at your website. Just because someone's referring you doesn't mean they don't go and social proof you. This goes even as far as your personal profile. I tell all my clients, your personal profile should be optimized for your business. You could have the best reviews ever, and I see that, I find out who you are and your name, and you come out, maybe you give me an estimate, whatever. In that time of figuring out who you are, I'll go look at your personal profile if I can find it. And if I see is that your profile picture is you like flicking off the camera and drinking a beer, and I look at your profile and there's things in there that are like, borderline controversial stuff, I'm going to have serious doubts about you as a contractor, right? So you have to make sure even your personal stuff is optimized. I keep a lot of my anything that's somewhat controversial. It's just for friends of my profile. I don't post it to the public side. But I've had lots of clients of mine that have requested to be friends with me on Facebook, and I won't accept it because I don't want to be friends with my clients. Now, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying I try to have as much separation as possible, but people will still go and social proof you. Well, you're the exception then, I remodel. As I said before, there's always exceptions. There's always exceptions. If you go to an area and there's only 3 contractors and you're one of the 3, you're going to be very busy. If you go to an area and there's 57 contractors that do what you do, you're not going to be as busy if you don't have the right stuff in place. There's always exceptions to everything. My customers found me on here. I hate it, and I tell them I hate it. You hate what? You hate TikTok or what? Yeah. Well, you got it all figured out, man. Why are you on this call? I don't. Why are you on here? If you got it all figured out, then why are you on here? Like I said, you always challenge me on everything I do. So I'm not sure why you're on here. For those of you that don't have it figured out, for those of you that are not as awesome as I remodel, then keep listening. But if you need expert advice on how to do that, reach out to iRemodel. He's in the chats right there on TikTok. Send him a message, and he'll be happy to help you figure out how to run a whole business without any marketing whatsoever, because he's got it all figured out. But if you are watching this and you want to know how to actually get it figured out, make sure you have your Google listing. Make sure you have your website up. It doesn't have to be the best of everything, guys. Sometimes you can just throw a website up, even if it's nothing. I'm just sorry, I got distracted by Bud's comment. I appreciate that, Bud. Even if you don't have a great website, that's better than nothing, right? Because people are still going to go look. The other benefit to having an actual website is organic search, because people will still go online and search. Like, so let's say they're looking for a bathroom remodel. They may actually go online and search for, what's like, how much does a bathroom remodel cost? They may go search for those things before they actually call somebody. So if you have like blogs on your website that answer these questions, it will show up in those searches, and people will go to your website and they'll read your blogs and say, "Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy is actually an expert." So what you want to try and do with all of your outbound marketing is actually try to educate your customers, because those are the ones that are spending the time to educate their customers show that they actually care about their customers and the experience that they're having. And so when people like go online and they go to YouTube or whatever, and they'll watch a video from a contractor, or they see something on Facebook and he's telling them like how to do certain things or answering questions that people have, those people, the customers will see that contractor as an expert. They'll say, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's very informative. He's going to share this information with me. I'm going to reach out to him first because he's been very helpful through this whole process. So there's different strategies with marketing that are long term, and there's strategies that are short term, and you have to do them together. You have to do them side by side. Like you don't do one or the other. So like SEO, blog post, your website, stuff like that is going to be more of a long-term strategy. If you posted a blog today on your website, it's probably not even going to show up for like 2 or 3 months, for Google to crawl that and say, oh, here's a relevant piece of information that people are searching for. So you do that while you're doing other things. You can do lots of outbound. I have all my clients who are in the Profit Club that are struggling to get leads that say you need to start calling. You need to make at least 10 calls this week to referral sources. And everybody watching this can do that right now. You start calling referral sources, and a referral source is not an actual lead. It's someone who's going to give you the lead. So for example, most of us watching this are probably in construction. So realtors can be a good source for leads. Home inspectors can be a source for leads. Other people that are doing services in these homes can all be good sources for leads. It doesn't matter what it is. You can be an electrician, a plumber, HVAC, landscaper, roofer, whatever. It doesn't matter. Every one of these trades runs across people that need other things done. So maybe you're a roofer, right? And you don't do anything else. You might want to team up with siding guys. Find some siding crews that don't do roofing. Find some gutter guys that don't do roofing. Find other people that don't do what you do, and you partner up with each other. Because it's going to happen where you a siding guy goes out to a job, like maybe there was a storm damage, right? There was some damage that came in. The siding gets tore up. There's a little bit of roof damage. They happen to call a siding guy first to get an estimate. Siding guy shows up. Yeah, I could do your siding. The customer says, hey, do you know any good roofers? I do actually. Call ABC Roofing. That's how you build networks, and you build strategic relationships with other people. Uh, get what's it say? What is it? Get the net. He says wine and dine the architects. Yeah, that's one of the things I was talking to my contractor earlier. I was talking to him. I said, have you reached out to architects? And he said, yeah, that's something I've actually started doing just this past month. But a lot of those architects are already established with other builders, and that may be true. But when you guys reach out to these referral sources, what you need to be doing is reaching out. You're introducing yourself, but you need to actually be trying to solve their problems. See, we approach these relationships as a what's in it for me, and we really need to approach these relationships as in what's in it for them. Because if you can provide value to them, then in turn they're going to be compelled to want to provide value to you through referrals. So for example, one of my guys is a flooring guy. I got to take a drink. I've been sick the last 2 weeks. I was feeling better today, and now I'm losing my voice again. One of my clients is a flooring installer, like hardwoods and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, you need to start calling out. So last week he started calling realtors and just making connections. Called like 20 or 30 of them, and now he's got a couple of them want to meet him in person to get more information. One of them wanted him to bring a whole stack of business cards by the realtor office so they can hand out to the realtors. Again, it doesn't mean that he's going to get work right away, but you're building those relationships that are going to pan out in the long run. There was a couple questions that came in. Let me go back here. Wine and dine architects, yeah. Where I live, there's so many companies that I try to do everything, and it usually results in lower quality workmanship. You talking about trying to do the work yourself? Yeah, you should niche it down. Teaming up with other quality professionals is a great tactic for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Ruby or whatever your name is. I did the same thing in my business. We would do all kinds of stuff, try to self perform everything because we thought, oh, it's more work. We're getting more work out of it. In reality, you're actually losing money because you're not as efficient or not as productive in some of those areas as you are doing your thing. So if you're really good at carpentry, then you should only be doing carpentry. But if you got some work that needs plumbing or electrical, you should be hiring a plumber or electrical to do that work. Plus, you're going to be marking up their labor anyways. If I'm doing a bathroom and I got a plumber coming in, I got an electrician coming in, and the plumber gives me a bid for $2,500, electrician gives me a bid for $800. Those are getting marked up. I'm marking up above those, and I'm not doing the work. So the 3 or 4 days that they're doing that job in the bathroom, I could be doing 3 or 4 days of carpentry work somewhere else where I'm making more money because that's what I'm good at, right? Ruby. I don't know. I can't see. It's like Ruby X, Rubik's RC. Like I don't know what it is. Sorry, man. Sorry about that. So, reaching out to referral sources will get you leads. While you're doing that, get your Google listing set up. You should be posting to your Google listing on a regular basis. You should be posting updates to your Google listing on a regular basis because Google loves that. Google is very narcissistic. So anything you do on Google is going to benefit you. You should be collecting reviews from every single person you do business with. I can't even tell you how much just that alone will get you leads. I'm pretty sure. I know there's been a lot of controversy and problems with Google reviews lately. I know there's lots of things happening with Google reviews. There's been people that are buying fake reviews, and Google's trying to remove these. In the action of doing that, they've actually removed legitimate reviews from some companies. So there's been some changes. My reviews on my old company have gone down because at one time I had like 150 something reviews, and now there's like 118. That's from my old business. I still have the Google listing up, although I'm not operating the business, but the reviews have dropped off. I've noticed that. And so when you have 100 plus reviews and the next contractor closest to you has 15 reviews, they're going to call or click on you first. It's guaranteed. Like they're going to click on you. So having reviews is super important. And there's other software out there that helps automate that. I have one that I've used is called Nice Job. Nice Job I think it's .co. I don't think it's .com. But if you just go search Nice Job on Google, it'll pop it up. It's a review service. It's $75 a month. It automatically sends out texts and emails to collect reviews. It will automatically post those reviews to your social media account, and it will post it onto your website as well if you have it set up. And it's completely automated. Like it's 100% hands off. So you don't ever have to think about it. That when I started using that service, I added over 100 reviews in 1 year because it was automatically doing it. So reviews are super critical to your business, to make sure that you stay ahead of the game. And in 2-3 years, it's probably going to be something different. There's probably going to be changes. AI is going to be changing a lot of stuff in marketing, a ton of stuff. We're probably going to see a huge influx in junk marketing that's out there because now AI can write a whole blog post for you in 2 seconds. And people are going to be starting to post all these blogs on their website, and it's just going to flood the internet with a bunch of junk. Well, they're going to have to combat that somehow. So there's going to be this thing of AI create something, other places like Google try to combat it, AI gets around it, Google gets around it, AI, and so on and so on. But in the next year, it's going to be very interesting what happens in marketing in terms of online, because it's all going to be AI generated for the most part. Even videos, you can do an explainer video. If you're not good on video, if you don't like talking on video, you can write out a script. Like maybe you want to explain your process of what it's like to do business with your company. You can write out a script and then go online and have software like do an explainer video with like cartoons. You've probably seen them, like cartoon or like drawing on a dry erase board, where they draw it out. You can just create an explainer video where it's not you on video, and it still works. It's still effective, but you don't have to do that yourself. It can be done completely automatic by somebody else, by AI or a service. So even if you're not good on camera, there's still ways to put out content. Doing live on Facebook is still valuable. If you have a Facebook page for your business, that's still a valuable option. And that doesn't take that much time. If you show up to the job site, you just grab your phone. This is my fake phone here. You grab your phone and just be like, hey, we just showed up to this bathroom remodel that we're working on. And I'll give you a behind the scenes of what's happening. We got the demo done. The guys are here doing the electrical right now, roughing it in. Next thing we're going to be doing is laying out the walls and blah, 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 blah. And then every day you go to the job site, you just do a little video. It can be 2 minutes long, and you just post it on your Facebook page. And then you can also take that stuff and you can reshare it. There's software out there that you can reshare on multiple platforms. So you don't have to go to like 5 different things and like post and post and post and post. Use technology to leverage your time so you can put out this information. The name of the game right now is putting out content. It's whoever can put out the most content that's the most valuable. That's the key part. It has to be valuable content, is the one that gets the eyeballs. You don't have to be good at it. You just got to put it out there. So post on Facebook, go live. People love the behind the scenes stuff. Even on TikTok, there's things that, I'll get stuck. While I watched a video right before I went live of a company that lays underground pipe. I don't know if it was oil or what it was, but the whole video was about how they take steel pipe and they weld it together on a ship and they drop it in the ocean. I have no reason to watch that. None. Like I'm never going to hire a pipe laying company. I'm never going to do that. But it was given a behind the scenes of how it's done. And so I was interested in it. Like it was intriguing to me to watch this. And your customers will do the same stuff with your content. If you're showing how, stuff's framed up and drywall's put on and all these different things, not telling them how to do it, not a step by step of this is what you do, but just showing behind the scenes of what happens. People love that stuff. What else? What else can we do to get leads in? Google pay-per-click is probably the single best way to get leads instantly, but it costs you money. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money. But Google pay-per-click is when you search for something and it's like an ad at the top, that's pay-per-click. And depending on the keyword and the what trade you're in and where you're located, it can be very expensive. You can end up paying $50 for one click, which doesn't even mean you're going to get the job. So you have to really know how much it costs you to acquire a customer, and your acquisition costs need to be factored into your overhead and your for your revenue. That's why you should always be charging more too, guys. The answer to pretty much all the problems is charge more. Why? Because when you have more money, you now have more available profit to use towards marketing. So if you're not making enough money, then you're forced to do all of the marketing yourself to try and save money because you don't have any money to pay someone to do it. But if you mark up your prices where you should be at and you're making extra profit, now all of a sudden you have an extra $1,500 that you didn't have before from that one job. Now you could spend that on pay-per-click, and then you sell another job and you make an extra $3,000. And now you got an extra $3,000 that you could hire someone to build you a website. And then you keep making money because you're charging more. You have more resources available to invest in your business. The reason why most people don't make it is because they don't charge enough. They just don't charge enough in their business. So they run out. I talked to another guy today, another contractor today, who's been in business for over 6 years in his business, and he's making less than the poverty at his in his city, whatever that threshold is. He's like making less than that, and I'm like, there's absolutely no reason you should not be making more than double what you're making right now, because it's possible. A lot of it's just head trash. We just have his head trash around. I can't charge that much. People aren't going to pay that much. So you have to up your leads. You have to up the quality of your leads. A lot of us get in this idea is that whenever someone calls us, they are a customer. And it's not the case. Just because someone calls you does not mean they're your customer. Best advice for a new roofing company, 4 months. User 735. I mean, I would collect as many possible reviews as you can. That's the first thing. Get as many reviews as you possibly can on your Google listing and Facebook. If you can get both, that's great. I don't do. I'll be honest. I don't do a whole lot of roofing. That's kind of like its own little niche thing with marketing. A lot of guys do door to door. If that's your boat, you can, if you want to do that, join a BNI group. If you don't know what BNI is, it's Business Networking International. It's a networking group. Call all your realtors in your town. Let them know that you're a roofer. Almost every freaking house ever sold needs roofing repairs done. You could advertise. Here's something, and this goes with pay-per-click, Google pay-per-click. What I did in my business was what I called the low-hanging fruit. So if I wanted to compete with a bathroom remodel, if I wanted to advertise for a bathroom remodel, same with like a new roof, the cost of those ads are astronomical. The cost of those clicks could be 25, 50, whatever. But if you go after something that people aren't advertising for, so for you as a roofer, you advertise roofing repairs potentially, it's going to have a lower competition. There's lower, competition in that keyword, because not roofing companies don't really want repairs. They want a lot of new roofs, right? So you can go after something that's a little bit less competitive, but that will be an entry into a new roof. So like, for example, with repairs, a lot of times you go out to, somebody calls you. One of my friends actually just texted me a while ago. She's like, "Hey, I got a couple shingles that are loose on my roof. Can you come out and fix it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't get on roofs anymore." She's got a super high pitch roof, and I'm like, I'm not interested in doing that. I was like, call our roofer friend that we know. But just getting the repair, someone calls, "Hey, I got a couple shingles missing." You get out there and look at it. Well, it's not just a couple shingles. It wasn't installed right. Now all of a sudden it's an insurance job and you just got a new roof out of it. So you can compete on lower competitive keywords as a way in, and then potentially upgrade the sale or upsell them. Obviously, ethically, like, don't tell them they need a new roof if they don't need a new roof. But I'm just saying it's a way to get in there to, but also, again, reaching out to insurance, um, restoration companies. Somebody has a tree falls through their roof and puts a hole in it. Well, water comes in, ruins the kitchen. Well, the restoration company gets called, but they also refer out the roof. You know what I mean? So like, you just got to connect with other people in the industry. There's there's not enough effort, or I shouldn't say effort. There's not enough. I don't know the word I'm looking for. There's not enough value added, or I'm gonna get a drink while I think about this. I can't think of it. You need to reach out to referral sources. People don't put enough value to that. They don't add enough value. How valuable that is. They underappreciate it. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. People underappreciate what cold calling people to reach out to them. like because they don't want to cold call. Like they're terrified of cold calling someone, so they don't do that. But that's like one of the best ways to get network with people is to have referral sources. Nathan says, "What are your thoughts on connecting with designers?" 100%, Nathan. I mean, yeah, 100%. I there's so many like low key ways you can do this. If you can if you go on Facebook, let's just do a little ad hoc thing here. Go on Facebook and search for like designers in your area. Like you can go on Facebook and use a search. Search for like designers, put your city in, right? Or go on Google and search for interior designers for your city. Write down all of the names of the designers or the design places. And I would look for like firms, ones that have like multiple designers, and follow them on Facebook. Just follow them. Because what happens whenever they hire a new designer? Somebody in chat tells me this this design firm hires a new designer. What do they do on Facebook when they hire a new designer? Somebody put it in the chat. Audience participation. What happens whenever they hire a new designer? What do they do on Facebook? I know there's a delay in here, so sometimes it's like 30 seconds. They posted on Facebook, "Hey, we want to welcome our new designer, Cindy. She comes from this." Yeah, they introduced them, Nathan. So what can you do? They blast it out. Yeah. What can you do? "Hey, this is Brad with Brad's Construction. I just, you call and ask for that person. Hey, I just wanted to congratulate you on your new position. Wanted to introduce myself. I'm a contractor in this area. Blah 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 blah. If you need a new contractor or if you're looking for a contractor, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share with you. Blah blah blah. Do some value add. This is what we can do." That firm may have certain contractors that they prefer to work with, but a new person joining, they may or not have, they may or not have a specific list of contractors. And I can tell you right now that even if when I was doing when I was running my business, if an electrician or somebody called me, I would 100% take their information down. Because just because I have an electrician or a plumber or somebody now that's working for me does not mean that in 2 months they're still going to be working for me. People flake out all the time. People are doing awesome for 6 months and then all of a sudden they hire a new guy and he sucks, and I'm like, and they won't fire that guy. I'm going to look for somebody else. So that information changes constantly. So just putting yourself out in front of these people and say, "Hey, I'm just introducing myself," you know, and then you can even ask them. Here's a word track you can ask them. Let's say you're an electrician and you're calling general contractors. You say, "Hey, I'm an electrician, blah blah blah. I was just reaching out. Didn't know if you need an electrician, if you have one now." And the guy's like, "Oh, no, we have an electrician." "Oh, okay, great. What is there? What's the most frustrating thing um, that you may have with your current electrician, or is everything perfect?" "Oh, no, I mean, electricians, they don't like to sweep up after themselves, so there's that. But I mean, we're pretty happy." "Okay, totally understand that. Well, if it ever changes and you're looking for an electrician who actually loves to clean up after themselves, here's my information." It can be that simple because you're setting yourself apart. If you call a real estate agent or a designer, "Hey, just trying to introduce myself. I do this. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. Do you have anybody currently that helps you with that?" "Yeah, we do. We actually have someone, but we're always looking for new people." "Okay, great. Here's my information." Just out of curiosity, like what if there was one thing that could be better with your current whatever, what would that be? "Well, I mean, he does a good job, but sometimes he doesn't always call us back right away." That can be a little frustrating because when we're talking with clients and we need to get some stuff put together, it's nice to have a little bit quicker response. Oh, well, wonderful. That's what we pride ourselves on. That's one thing we make sure we do is always call people back within 5 minutes. Like whatever it is they tell you that someone else is not doing a good job, that's what you're the best at. And then whenever you do work with them, you better make sure that you actually do what you said you're the best at. And that's really all you that's the secret, guys. Whatever everyone else sucks at, you make sure you're the best at and over deliver on it. You can also find this out by going to Google. This is why reviews are also so important. Go look at all your competitors in your town, research all your competitors on Google, look at the reviews, and then read every single review and read what people are saying that they do really well and read what people are complaining about. And whatever those two things are is what you should be doing. If whatever they're complaining about, it means that there's a void in your industry in that town. Especially if there's like 5 competitors that are like the most notable competitors in your area, and 3 out of the 5 have reviews that say that they don't call them back in time. That means that there is a void in your area, in your trade, that your top competitors are not filling. And that is your way to make sure that you can fill in and get above them. There's always pain points. There's always pain points. Figure out what the pain points are and then make sure you deliver on that. That's with your customers. And that's also with your referral sources. So, I mean, if you call 25 referral sources a week, I would almost guarantee you within 2 weeks, you'll probably have 3 to 5 jobs sold just from doing that, like in instant contact. And then now you have 25 potential referral sources going forward that may end up generating an extra 5 to 10 leads every single month. There's absolutely no downside whatsoever to calling referral sources and introducing yourself or stopping in their store. If you're driving down the road and you got a few extra minutes and there's a real estate office, pull in there, walk in. Hey, my name is Brad. I just want to introduce myself. I've been here for 5 years. I've never actually stopped in your office, and I just wanted to say hi, introduce myself, and let you know what services that we offer in case you guys ever need someone. Like you just do that, and you might get a job right then. Oh, perfect timing, actually. We just had a contractor that retired last week, and we didn't know who we were going to recommend for roofing because the guy that was doing it has been doing it for the last 10 years, is retired or went out of business or whatever. Like sometimes it's just like timing. You just happen to be at the right place at the right time. But is it really coincidental? If you're making outbound effort, this is where you like make your own luck, right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just walked in here. We were just talking 10 minutes ago that we needed a new electrician. And here you are. It's meant to be. Well, is that luck or is that you creating luck by putting output, by doing output? So we're getting towards the end. If you got any questions, guys, drop them in the comments. I want to answer them for you. Hopefully that was it. That's been informational, educational, helpful, whatever. Yeah, Rubik said suppliers too. I didn't really talk about them. Dude, your suppliers are always going to be a good source. Always befriend your suppliers. Always. Always figure out them on a first name basis. Be conversational with them, find out more information about them. Because I guarantee you, for every trade that you're in, there's for every 7 out of 10 contractors that do your thing, 7 of them are complete buttholes to the suppliers. So if you can be one of the 3 that's not, who do you think they're going to recommend whenever the opportunity for them to recommend somebody? I remember one time I was looking for a new tile guy because I used to do my own tile, but I was trying to find a tile setter that I could sub it out to. And I went to our supplier And I said, "Hey, you got a list of tile guys?" He goes, "Yeah." And like they had a printed out list of all the different tile companies that they sell to. And he said, and because I had a good relationship with him, because I bought all my tile stuff there, he said, "This one is the best one, but they're booked up. They're always booked up. You're probably not going to get in. These two here, they do pretty good work. But this one here, I know for a fact that he's looking for work. He does excellent work, but he can be a little bit difficult to work with because he's like from Germany. It's a little bit of a language barrier, and he doesn't like talking much, so he can be. I mean, he's a good guy, but he's just a little difficult to work with. But he does excellent work, and he's looking for new work. So like the supplier is like literally telling me everyone on this list who I should call and what their benefits are. You know what? Don't call these people. Blah 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 blah. Your suppliers know your trade and your business, and they know who to recommend. So go befriend your suppliers. I'm not saying you should go take them donuts every Friday, but what I'm saying is that if you did that, it sure as hell ain't going to hurt your business. It's not going to hurt you, I promise. But use that like most significant business does come from referrals, meaning those are the best type of leads you can get. And when you get into more higher end stuff, it almost always comes from referrals. But that doesn't mean that you can't start the process through your marketing efforts. So it's important to make sure that like, all across the board, everything is lined up. Like you got to have a website, you got to have your Google, you got to have vehicle wraps, you got to have a uniform, you got to have good service, you got to have good quality, all that stuff. Like you just across the board, just make sure everything's on point. Don't just say I only get referrals and therefore I'm only going to get referrals and I'm not going to get a website because I've never needed a website. Regardless if you only work off referrals, it does not hurt you whatsoever to have a website. It can only help you. So that's all I got, guys. My voice is almost gone. We're almost to the end. So unless you got a question, last minute question, do me a favor on TikTok. Double tap the screen, give me some likes. It just helps Facebook algorithm. And if you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor. If you're watching the replay, type in replay if you've watched this far. That's all I got, guys. I have a new guide that I just released. You can have access to it if you want. It's the how to eliminate tire kickers and get paid for doing estimates. It's the no BS guide for contractors who deserve to make more money. If you guys want access to that free guide, where I basically pull back the curtain on all the sales process that I teach inside my coaching program, you can have that for free. Just shoot me a message on TikTok, go to my profile, shoot me a message with your email address, and I'll email that out to you. So I just released that last week. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from it. Should give you a ton of. It's 20 pages long, so I mean, there's lots of real value in there. So if you guys are interested in that, just shoot me an email and I'll send it out to you. Yeah, and somebody on Facebook just said Google offers free websites. So even if you can't afford one, you can go on Google and get one. A really crappy website is still 10 times better than no website. Because if they go online, they can't find you, they're going to think you're out of business. They're going to think you're not professional. It's just going to happen. So, all right, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out. I'll see you later. Have a great evening.